Okay, so I want to give us a quick update on our Thursday test. That's on the 21st. So I'm going to go over a couple of things real quick. So make sure you're paying attention, and let's get through this really fast. I just want to do this quickly. I don't want to take too long. So let me just start here. I'm looking at my phone for all the things I need to check in with. So first of all, lockdown browser. There is no lockdown browser. I know I said, hey, prep, get ready for the lockdown browser. You don't need the lockdown browser. Not a big deal. That's fine with us to not need a lockdown browser, right? So that's all good. So no need for a lockdown browser. You are going to do this on the internet. You're going to the web page. You do need a few things, and I've already put that link. I'll try to remember to drop it again below, and also put it in the Google Classroom. That link is to tell you exactly what specifications you need, which is the latest and greatest web browser for Chrome or for whichever one you're using. Okay, so take a look at that and make sure you're up to date with your web browsers and all. I just had an update with my web browser on my Google my Google Classroom with my Chromebook from the district. So if you're on the district Chromebook, if you're on your own computer, just make sure you got it all updated. There is a few other little things with that. Remember, there's those weird things up in your corner. I don't remember which one, but anyhow, they're in one of the corners, and that is your extensions and things like that. There's a list of things they want to make sure you have turned off, so you'll be able to turn those things off, which shouldn't be an issue, and they should be ready to go. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, some kids were still struggling with, as they did these last week, as we are starting to do this stuff, some of the kids were still struggling with submitting. So there's all kinds of little technical issues with submitting that could crop up, which is fine because they created a solution. Okay, that solution is to have a unique email address. So there is a unique email address per student. If any kind of issue comes up and things kind of collapse down, and you submit via email. You can email your submission to College Board. Okay, that's an awesome little extra thing they've done. So if you can't get it submitted, or you submitted it but you think something went wrong, whatever, you can shoot them an email with that submission. I'll check. I think it's up to 30 minutes. Actually, you're going to want to check and I'll put it in the below tab. I'll also put it below if you're doing this through Google Classroom. Okay, so take a look at those. And that's the email version. So that's really important. That's a new thing. Not everybody got that when they were testing, but we do. That's what's cool about testing a little later, because he works some of these kinks out. We'll talk a little bit later about what happens if something really screwy goes wrong. So what else do I need for my test? Super important. What all do you need to have with you is one of the great questions. Number one, you need some pen and some scrap paper. It's great to have something to be able to write some notes on. Okay, so that would be super important, because you might want to write down your X, your A, your B with 1, 2, 3, 4, things like that. Quick little outline, et cetera, et cetera. You can also have any notes you want. If you have just pages and pages of notes, okay, totally cool. This is fake. This is not really notes. This is something from my nephew. But anyhow, totally awesome that you have notes. If you have your notes typed out, great. You can go to that. It's open. I thought it was going to be some lockdown thing. It's not. You'll be able to just go to another tab and Google. It should not matter what you're looking at. They know you are doing this. They're expecting you to do this. Please do these sorts of things. Somebody asked me, can I have my notes all typed out and ready to go, where I can just do a quick search and find what I'm looking at? Yes. Can I go to, what's that Pedia guy? Not Wikipedia. I mean, yeah, you can use that too, but can I use Freemanpedia? Yes, you can. Absolutely do not copy word for word. If you copy anything, they're going to catch you. I've been catching many students doing this with just kind of random things. If you do any copy and paste, they will catch it. I've been catching it just by being a reader. There's actually, before it even gets to a reader, is going through a computer algorithm that's going to catch you. Don't do it. Okay. If you get flagged, that's it. Your whole thing's done. I don't care if it's one sentence that you copied from somebody else, you're done. All right. So make sure you're not copying and pasting at all. Okay. If it's your own work, that's different. What happens if I write out a sentence that happens to be my own work, but just copy somebody else? Well, first of all, that's not going to happen. But if it does, we can fight that battle. when it comes to it. Okay. I can help. I can fight with you and things like that. We can work with that, but that's not going to happen. I promise it just won't. All right. So there you have it. Another little piece I wanted to make sure was the difference between the rubrics. As you know, and I've told you early, and I've told you again, my rubric is much harder than the AP rubric. If you look at the AP rubric, it looks very different. The reason I make you do more is because that gives you to have mistakes. It gives you the ability to have mistakes. But at least get the basics of their rubric in your DBQ. Okay. So if you're running out of time, you've got 15 minutes left, take a quick glance at their rubric, go for points. Okay. Go for points. There's certain things you can do to just tack on some points real easy, like adding extra evidence. You're getting close to the end of time. You're not sure you can complete. You've already gotten several of the documents done, but you're not quite there yet. Go for points, man. Get those additional evidence. Bam. Google them. Boom. Quick 3 sentences about each one so they support your argument. Done. Right? You don't get to do the conclusion. Okay, you just didn't quite make it. That's not going to kill you. Okay, it's not going to take away tons of points. Might not take away any points. I make you do a conclusion because it helps you recap your argument. It helps build that argument. It helps do all kinds of different things that give us some points. And I take off points for not having it, but that's not necessarily how they're reading it. I'm much more critical when it comes to that sort of thing. Okay, so take a look at their rubric and make sure you look over it pretty good. Okay, I got to keep speeding through this because I've already been over 5 minutes. All right, so there are some differences in the rubric. 30 minutes beforehand is your check-in time, so that means I think our test's at 1, right? So at 12:30, you start checking in. You start looking into, what's required. You get your little document or whatever, and you type in. You should on Wednesday or Tuesday even. You should actually already have your little code and your document. It should have been emailed to you. If it didn't happen that way, there's some other ways to access that. You can log in, I think, through College Board and access that information. So make sure you do. Okay. And make sure you have that with you. Like snap a photo of it so it's on your phone so you know I got it. I got my code. I got my everything because there's an individual code per person. Okay. What happens if something goes wrong? Like I'm typing, my electricity goes out. I'm typing, my fingers fall off. I mean, it could happen. You never know. I'm typing, my little brother comes in and busts his head open and I got to go to the emergency room. I don't know. I don't know what happens, but there could be 1.5 million different scenarios. If something does go wrong, there is a makeup test day. Okay. So please take the first one and do well because all this is fresh in your mind. The makeup one's not for a while, but if you have to, you could actually do the makeup test. Okay. So that is an option, but it's ways out. So I wouldn't do that. I mean, get this thing behind you, but if something goes wrong, know that there is an option for makeup. Okay. So that's that. And then finally, last little piece here, grades. Just, I will send out another one of these videos on Friday after it's all said and done. And we'll discuss grades. I'll put up a quick video explaining the grading process for this 4th week because it seems like some of you still haven't quite grasped what it's all about yet. And some of you have grasped it and your parents don't care. Some of you have parents in the district and they know exactly what the grading policy is and they just don't care. They're school teachers or whatever. And they're like, yeah, you're doing your work anyhow. But we'll talk about that on Friday. I don't want to get too much into that. So that's it. I'm surviving. I'm doing great. Nigel is hanging out on the steps. He's being spoiled by his grandmother. We're still down here in the Austin Round Rock. Actually, if you know where Cedar Park is, that's where we're at. I have been I went up to school this week, yesterday, just got back, got to see some of the teachers. It was cool. And I'll be coming in and out of the Denton area now. I'm going to kind of come back and forth a little bit more than I have been, but, you probably won't see me around too much because I really don't see any of you anyhow. Cause, that's just how it goes. I live in Denton, so it's too bad. But anyhow, I will be up in the area and around and I'll definitely see you guys, next year. Make sure you stop by, those of you that are coming back to Creekview anyhow. Again, I'll put out one more video on Friday and I'll probably put out a little farewell video or something like that. We'll make sure to do something festive for the last one or whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to be that creative. All right. I hope you guys have a great week. Test well. If anything else comes up, I will put in another video or at least some links. But please check out the links. They'll be below, whether you're in your classroom or you're in YouTube. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great test, and you're going to do awesome. I promise. All right. Bye.